Good morning, folks. It is a gorgeous day today, and I'm in a bit of a rush. Been doing some major shop cleanup here, and ARGO project is at a bit of a standstill. I've got to make some decisions. Somebody commented about this bike. That's actually my dad's bike. He's got it listed for sale. He's out of town, so he's left it here so that I could show it if it needs to be shown to somebody. However, I did require a new bike recently and sold my old DR650. When I say new bike, new used, new to me, but this is a bike I have history with. I bought a 2000 Heritage Springer Classic. Yeah, that's my bike. I like it. It was actually originally purchased by my mom. It was my mom's bike. And then my dad's getting out of biking and he was selling it. So I asked him, how much do you want for it? He took it to the dealer, got appraisal, and told me, and I said, I'd be interested. And he gave it to me for $1,500 off. Not for $1,500, for $15 off. And so I bought it, I sold my DR. The difference between what I got for my DR and what I paid for this bike was $2,000. So for $2,000, I upgrade from a DR650 to a Harley Heritage Springer Classic. Hot deals. Anyways, my son is getting rid of his big old jacked up Chevy. There's a tow truck coming today, well, in about an hour and 40 minutes. And I had hauled that truck way out into the field just because it was an eyesore here. And so now I've got to go haul it back so that the tow truck can load it up. Hopefully it goes fairly well. What a gorgeous day. Fall is definitely coming. I think the farmer should be pulling the crops off these fields soon, which it's always kind of sad, but it's always kind of exciting. I'm a fall guy. I love the fall, and I'm not sure why. Now, I did notice a leak. I wasn't the one to drive this Bobcat last, and I'm not sure what happened. But there's a leak, and it's low on oil. So I'm gonna have to top it off, try and figure out where that oil's coming from. But okay, I'm starting to see it in the window now. So that's good. Oops, spilling oil everywhere there, Jer. Had to redo the rigging. I think that'll be better. All right, well that took a little finagling, a little more than I'd anticipated, but we got it here. So this was a pretty cool truck. Unfortunately, the engine blew and my son just doesn't know when or if he'd have time to get around to redoing it. What do you think about the truck there, goat? Oh, speaking of goats, I gotta show you something. We have the cutest little baby goat. Where's Cupcake? There's Cupcake. Hey, Cupcake. So this is the mom, this is Muffin. Yeah. And this is a little baby Cupcake. Hey, Cupcake, how you doing? Isn't that the cutest little thing? Hey, little buddy, yeah, you're a happy little goat. You're a good little Cupcake. So tiny. So tiny, aren't ya? Now, I ended up really rushing this, pulling it out of here, because I thought I had like an hour and a half, but it's been about like 3 hours and the tow truck still isn't here, so. Why don't we jump back to Largo just for a minute? The decisions that I need to make. I'll kind of show you where we're at with it. I have been doing a lot of filming. Also, filming on that thing is a pain at this stage because everything is so dirty. So anytime I want to move a camera for a different shot, like I basically have to wear gloves and then take them off, throw them out. But we've pretty much gutted everything, less this transmission. And all these shafts are bent, so these are gonna have to be straightened or replaced. This was the engine that's in it. And I couldn't get it to run, but I'm not saying it's not gonna be able to run. I haven't checked for spark yet. Probably need to clean the carbs. Well, I think this is gonna go one of two ways. First, this is going to be an entire complete rebuild. and I will rebuild the engine completely, strip it all apart, check the pistons, hone the cylinders, everything, which was going to be a lot of work. This is going to require pretty much an entire rebuild. Yeah, you can see that wobble. Look at that. Look at the wobble in that. The other thing I'm thinking is those are fairly thin shafts. I'm even wondering if it's possibly worth cutting off these hubs and going with different bearings with bigger shafts. I don't even know how these are constructed. Like, is there metal under here? There is a metal frame there. And then how much room do I have for the bearings to get bigger? Not a lot. This is the floor channel, so the floor is supported right here, and you can see that bolt right there. There's only like half an inch, so I'm not sure if going bigger bearings would work. Maybe I just buy some higher quality hardened shafting. Just due to the nature of all that's involved, individual videos coming out on this are going to be fairly spread out. I was hoping to do a couple videos a week, but I'm not making enough progress in a week with all the other stuff that I have to do to make even one video per week. So that was the one way this was gonna go. Rebuild the engine. But the second thing that I'm thinking of doing, and this might be crazy, but what if you went and you converted this to EV? Problem with that is that I'm not an electronic motor kind of a guy. I've never worked on an electric motor. I know nothing about electric motor controllers. I know they're getting easier because there's a lot of kits out there now. They're becoming more common. And I've seen a video on YouTube of a guy that did this EV. It's really neat because in his video, he's like driving it and it is nice and quiet. Well, the hum of an electric motor, but way quieter than driving with a two-stroke. I don't know, for hunting, that might be kind of nice. Minimize the noise through the field. But if this were your rig, would you do the two-stroke, put it back to the original, or would you go electric? Also, I need to give a huge shout out to my buddy Oren. He's actually been featured on this channel for Viewers Knives, which we used to do. I was at a chapter meeting on Saturday and I got a text, hey, are you home? I wasn't. And so he left me 2 bilge pumps at the end of my driveway. What I'm learning about these vehicles is that they're not entirely waterproof. Obviously, water can get in through the bearings. And so a lot of folks will actually install a bilge pump in there. And as the water comes up, just pump it out. Just put a drain hole somewhere. So thank you so much, Oren. I'm stoked about that. You know, I'm not a huge fan of electric vehicles. I've got nothing against them, but I don't ever see myself owning one because I live out of town. And also it gets very cold here in the winter. So electric heat is very inefficient. Heat in an internal combustion engine is just a byproduct of the cooling system. I don't know. Whatever. If you drive electric, great. If I lived in the city, maybe, who knows? But I still think it'd be cool to have like an electric 6-wheel drive amphibious vehicle. That'd be kind of cool. Anyways, I'm gonna run in for lunch and then hopefully that tow truck's gonna be here soon. All right, 1 day later, ready to be picked up. All right, that is the way to do it. That's my buddy TJ with Heavy Hook Towing. I've used his services a lot in the last year. First name basis, he's actually on one of my contacts in the phone, so. Oh, it's nice to see things done the right way. So originally my son was thinking of towing that on the flat deck trailer, but those tires are too wide to fit between the fender wells, and I don't like hauling vehicles. It's just always uncomfortable. You're always just so nervous. So I thought, you know what? Just hire a tow truck. Those guys know what they're doing. They're insured, and you don't have any worries. So anyways, I'm gonna wrap it up here because it's the weekend. I hope you guys have a great one. Thanks for watching. We'll check on the next one. Cheers.